Dodgers getting ever closer to those winter meetings, and they have to look internally. What's up, everybody? I'm Jim Rodriguez, and welcome to the Tuesday here on Dodgers Latest. So happy that you're with us each and every day. Can't thank you enough for all your support. Please continue to like, subscribe, share, hit those thumbs up buttons. It loves the algorithm. And of course, we love all your comments. We're going to read some more today. We get them all. I read them all. I respond to as many as I can. And again, share it with your friends. Let them know about Dodgers Latest right here on our YouTube channel. And you can always hit me up right there on Instagram and on X at JRodShow. All right, well, we've been talking about so many possibilities for the Dodgers in terms of closers. Suarez from San Diego, Diaz from the Mets, Devin Williams from the Yankees. Shoot, I even heard Kenley Jansen floating out there. He wants to come back because he wants to chase 500 saves, and Kenley Jansen's lost almost 20 pounds already. Slow down, Kenley. The holidays are coming. But the one guy that I want to talk about is Andy Pages. And he, to me, is a very interesting situation. The future of Andy Pages. I mean, listen, he's going to be 25 years old, so he's just getting started in this. Dodgers have him under team control, which means he can't become a free agent through 2031. So they've got a gold mine. They've got a great asset here if they want to, they don't have to pay him the big money, or if they want to trade him, they've got a great chip because, again, he can't become a free agent till after 2031. In his first year in the big leagues, had a pretty decent year, had some success in the postseason, and then he followed it up in 25 with a great regular season. 272 average, 27 homers, 27 doubles, 86 RBIs, and to boot even had 14 stolen bases. So Dodgers may have found their center fielder, definitely definitely multi-outfielder of their future, right? Well, then he goes and he has an absolute turd burger, poops the bed in the playoffs. 078 in the playoffs, 4 for 51 with 1 RBI. Now, the thing about Andy Pages, he seems to be Johnny on the spot in that every time something big happened in the postseason, Andy Pages turned up. Remember, he hit that comebacker to Ryan Kerkering against the Phillies in the division series that he threw late to home plate, and the Dodgers ended up clinching and ended up going to the Brewers. That was Andy Pages who hit that ground ball. And probably the most famous thing, I've seen memes in terms of maybe a Christmas tree ornament, is that catch he made in the World Series where he bowled over Kike Hernandez, saving the Dodgers season. And that will forever be one of the great moments in Dodger history, in Dodger World Series history. And you just wonder, is that going to be enough to save Andy Pages' career with the Dodgers? Listen, we all have a stinker right in the playoffs. We've seen some of the great ones, have bad postseasons. Look at Barry Bonds. For years had awful postseasons with the Pirates. The Astros of the Biggio Bagwell regime. They had bad postseasons, and they went on to be Hall of Famers. Could Andy Pages be a Hall of Famer? Well, don't know yet. Too early. He's going to be 25 in next season. But I think it definitely alerted some people to say, hey, listen, is this guy the real thing when it comes to the postseason? Great regular season, and I'm curious to see how he follows up 26, not only regular season wise, but what he does with the bat. Especially after that awful 4 for 51 in the postseason. But I think the Dodgers, if they're looking to move him, I think they would move him in a big trade. A Tariq Skubal, a Paul Skeens, that kind of a move. Because again, under control through 2031, 25 years old. Doesn't seem to be any kind of a problem in the clubhouse. Great guy, Cuban descent. And I think the Dodgers are just hoping that maybe this was a learning experience. There are reports that saying Andy May is gone. The Dodgers will ship him. Again, I think the good thing about Andy Pages is with all that potential, you can get a significantly long haul, big haul for him. Where does he play? Well, I think he's the center fielder right now. I think right now, remember, the Dodgers have a hole in left field. If they sign Kyle Tucker, if they sign a Cody Bellinger, more than likely Teo would go to left. that new free agent would go to right, and there's Andy Pages in center. Tommy Edman can play center field as well, so if they move him, they have a place for him. Of course, that would kind of open up a move at second base. Lots of moving pieces up the middle at second base and in center field for the Dodgers, but I think Andy Pages is a definitely win-win for the Dodgers in the sense they can be patient with him, or they can definitely package him in a big move. What would you want to do with Andy Pages? You want to see him back in 26? You want to see him as a Dodger all the way? Or do you package him up in a big move? I think the only way you trade him, unless he totally falls off a cliff in 26, is in one of those big moves, the Skeens, the Scoobles, that kind of stuff. I think that's what you'd proceed with Andy Pages. But for now, I think he's your center fielder until he's not. Meanwhile, a guy who definitely went through it during the regular season and came up like a shiny new penny in the postseason is Roki Sasaki. Unbelievable, for a guy that looked completely lost during the regular season, right? We saw him on the verge of tears in that opening series against the Cubs in Japan. I even said, I don't know if he's mentally ready for this. He just turned 24 in early November, so he was 23 during this regular season for the Dodgers. And we talked about how Andy Pages is under team control. Well, it has 5 more years of team control with the Dodgers. So he is. You talk about a bargaining chip. You talk about a guy, if you decided to trade, which I don't think they will, 5 more years of team control with Sasaki, and he just turned 24. Let's break it down real quick. During the regular season, again, he seemed lost. ERA of almost 4.5, and then they found it, right? He went down in the minor leagues for a rehab assignment, trying to deal with a bad shoulder. They approached him with the idea of, hey, would you want to come out of the bullpen? Would you want to be a closer? He said, yeah. They worked on that, and he delivered an ERA of 0.84 in the postseasons. Pitched in 9 games, 3 saves, 2 holds, 3 for 3 in save opportunities, by the way, and became, the darling. But to me, what gets me more than anything else was the 3 innings in relief that he pitched against the Phillies in that extra inning game in the division series. That, to me, it solidified the fact that he probably belongs in the starting rotation. And I think that's where you have to decide, what do you want to do with Roki Sasaki? I think he's an ace in the pen. He's an ace up your sleeve. I think he's your 5th starter. I think it's, Yamamoto, it's Snell, it's Ohtani, it's Glasnow, and then Sasaki. I know they've got River Ryan, and, they've got other guys that are coming back from surgery. I think those are the guys that I think will be maybe the 6th or 7th starter. But for sure, Gavin Stone's coming back from a shoulder injury, and you've got Bobby Miller in the minor leagues, Justin Robleski, Emmett Sheehan. Those are your starters 6 through 8 or 9. But I think for sure Sasaki is your 5th starter. And now the question is, we saw him in small bursts, and he pitched well. Question is, can he do it over 3, 4, 5, 6 innings over 20 starts during a regular season? Does his body have that in him? He's still growing into his body. Again, he just turned 24 years old, but we've seen how devastating stuff he's got. He's got a lightning arm, and I think the Dodgers have every intention of making him the 5th starter, and if he pitches well, keep promoting him up in the rotation. But he's definitely in the starting rotation for 26 and beyond. But I think the Dodgers know if things go sideways again, and especially in the playoffs, I think they can count on him because now he has that experience. He has that winning experience. And don't forget to count on that. I think once you've had success, especially at the highest competition level, in the postseason, in the World Series, I think that now brings a new renewed confidence and acceptance into the clubhouse, into spring training, and into 26. So I think Sasaki is the 5th starter. I think the Dodgers are, trying to figure out, is it a Devin Williams? Is it a Roger Suarez? Is it an Edwin Diaz? Is it a Kenley Jansen? Is it a Pete Fairbanks to try to help out Tanner Scott and Blake Trinan? But I think they know come playoff time. I don't think you'll see him out of the bullpen in the regular season. Come playoff time, Sasaki's there for the playoff push. But I think out of the bullpen. But I think he is a starter for 26, and I think the Dodgers, with the success that they had with him in the postseason, I think that will go a long way mentally going into the regular season in 26. Yeah, we always ask you to be part of the show. Love all the comments. We read them all. We try to get as many on the Dodgers' latest show here. And speaking of that rotation, got a great note here. At this point, the Dodgers have Emmett Sheehan, Justin Robleski, Roki Sasaki, River Ryan, maybe. Yeah, I think he's ready to go. And Gavin Stone, all are young and untouchable, meaning they will not be included in any trades, and their years of arbitration will be maxed. Yeah, that's the thing about it. I think the Dodgers know that they have so much, years of control with these guys. But I also think if somebody came out of nowhere and said, "Hey, I'll give you this, or I'll give you that," I think that's the pool you start picking into. And they still have a number one outfield prospect. They still have a lot. It's funny, for as much winning as the Dodgers have done, we criticize Andrew Friedman for not making big blockbuster trades. Well, that's why this minor league system is still intact, so that when that big whale is out there, they could get him. Now, knowing Andrew Friedman, he's won championships picking up, the Max Muncies and the Justin Turners and the Tommy Edmonds. So I think there's a little bit of pride of finding those diamonds in the rough. All right, back at it. We talked about Dalton Rushing. My concern behind the plate, I think that's a big concern for the Dodgers, is who will be the backup now that Ben Roethlisberger is off to Cincinnati, and congratulations to him. I think Rushing will hit, 260, have a 390 OBP, 30 homers. Wow, 30 homers for some team next year. Of course, only if he's traded and therefore given a fair opportunity. Pirates match up perfectly in a trade. They've got nothing at the catcher position, and they're looking for MLB-ready bats. Seth Hernandez was a local guy from California, Southern California. Seth Hernandez for Rushing and Freeland would be a perfect trade. He is a future ace for sure. Yeah, I think, again, talk about a guy who has team control. Dalton Rushing was the Dodgers' number one prospect in the minor leagues till they brought him up. He gives the Dodgers flexibility. There's first base, there's the outfield. So I think there's a chance to get him in, 4 or 5 times a week. Maybe, once a week behind the plate, giving Will Smith a day off. Maybe once a week at first base, giving Freddie Freeman a day off. And then maybe some outfield spots for him, giving that rotation of outfielders a day off. So I think there's an opportunity for Dalton Rushing. It's just that he didn't respond very well to not playing every day. And it's tough when you're an everyday player, number one prospect, the star of the organization, and all of a sudden they bring you up to the big leagues and you're sitting on the bench. Takes a whole different mentality, and he didn't produce offensively, and he hurt himself. So I think Dalton Rushing, I don't think they want to trade him. I think they want to keep him, as an insurance policy for Will Smith, who had been pretty much relatively healthy his career until this season. But I think, catching 1 or 2 days a week, playing first base 1 or 2 days a week, and maybe some outfield is a way to try to get him in that lineup a little bit more every day. And we talked about the Padres, how they've got a soap opera going in San Diego. There's the team may be for sale, as the widow and the brother of Pete Seidler are arguing about the team, and they just might up and sell it. And you guys were responding to that. Sucks for the Padres fans that the owner died. He was trying to build a winner. As soon as he passed, it all started going downhill. Yeah, it's crazy now when you read that Fernando Tatis may be available, Manny Machado may be available. The team, we talked about it the other day. They've got a baked-in rivalry with the best team in baseball. They've got a great ballpark, great fan base, but now they're just not making any money. Part of it was the TV deal falling through, the owner dying. It's a crazy situation, and again, I've said it once and I'll say it twice. Baseball is better when the Dodgers and Padres are good together, when the Dodgers and Giants are good together, when you have these rivalry teams good together. And I would dare anyone to give me right now, I'm not talking historically, I'm not talking all time, I'm talking right now, there isn't a better rivalry in baseball than the Dodgers and the Padres in terms of the managers, the ownership, the fans, the players. No better rivalry in baseball than the Dodgers and Padres right now. So we hope they get it together because it's only good for the game. Dodgers are going to keep winning. Dodgers are going to keep doing their thing, thankfully. Hope they can get it together down in San Diego. Yeah, man, we want to thank you for getting it together with us. Remember, hit me up on Instagram and on X at JRodShow. Keep liking, subscribing, sharing. Hit those thumbs up button. As the winter meetings are approaching in Orlando, that's going to be the first week of December after the Thanksgiving holiday. And man, I'll tell you, spring training's coming, and the Dodgers trying to go for ring number 3 in a row. Good times, good times. I'm Jim Rodriguez, and remember, it's always time for Dodger baseball.